Okay, so boom, story time. I want to tell y'all about the time that I fixed my own AC. So I live in Arizona, and I don't know if anybody knows really, but I just moved from Florida. I drove there and back, and my AC was working fine. But when I got to Arizona, it stopped working for some reason. So I just been trying to avoid driving around anywhere, and I needed it fixed so dire because I have a child, and we can't ride around like that. We in the heat of the summertime. So I, did what any girl would do. I called my dad and I said, "Dad, I need help with this AC. I don't know what to do." And he asked me what it was doing. It was just blowing hot. He said, "Does the compressor work?" I had to find out exactly how to find the compressor. So I had to do some research to find out where the compressor was. I saw the compressor. It saw it was working. Now I had to figure out why the AC wasn't working. My dad suggested that I put some Freon in it, which is like something that just makes the air blow cold. And he told me how to do it. He said what you need to do is you need to turn the car on, turn it all the way up, close the windows, connect the thing. There's a little gauge on it. If it turns red, don't do nothing because that means too much pressure in there already. And some more stuff. And if there's too much pressure, then your car can explode. I'm like, okay, because listen, me, I have trust issues. So I've had plenty of cars before this one, and I've gotten under the hood of those cars because I have those trust issues. And I have gotten under the hood and I've fixed those problems, and they have gotten me through owning those cars without having to have to go back and fix those problems. So I was confident that I was going to get under the hood of this car and fix that AC. And did. And I sure did. Let me tell you what I did. Because even my dad was like, "I ain't never heard no shit like that before in my life." And so I was like, hold on, let me explain. So I did everything. I followed the steps that he told me to follow. Um, Turned the air on, did all this extra stuff. I'm going to show you guys the dang thing that I had to use. So this is the doohickey right here you have to use, and this is the gauge I'm talking about. This attaches to a can of Freon. Of course, the can of Freon is gone because the can is empty. So I followed the steps. I connected the doohickey to the car, and I'm going to go show you guys exactly where I had to connect it. Okay, so here's my little bucket right here. First, you got to go inside. Oh, yeah, and I had to put a steering wheel lock on my car because you damn Kia boys all on TikTok learning how to freaking steal Kias. We hate you for that. Kia owners hate you for that because we got kicked off of our own insurance and we didn't get to insure our cars for at least a good 2 years because of that. I hope you guys get every kind of bad karma that comes to you for doing that. I really do, actually. And I don't wish anything bad on anyone, but I actually do wish bad karma on you guys. Anyway, back to what we were doing. I know my baby needs a wash. They were fixing this parking structure for a while, so I had to park under the power lines. And there's usually birds that sit on top and just crap, and then the dust storms. I couldn't wash her. And now she needs a brake job, so I can't even move her until I go and get her brakes changed. Anyways, back to the matter at hand. All right, now, so my compressor is way in the heck down there. And when you turn the car on, it's supposed to spin and move. And this little guy right here is your low pressure. This big guy right here is your high pressure. So, don't ask me why it's so hard to remove this cap right now. How did I get it off the first time? Hold on real quick. All right, so this guy, you push it like this onto the low pressure, and it clips on. I can't freaking get the cap off. I don't know how I put the cap on there so tight, but I did, and now I can't get it off. But anyways, that clips onto there, and you watch the gauge. Now, if the gauge moves all the way to the red, that means you have too much pressure in there. If it's in the blue or the green, that means you have all the room to flow your air through the ventilation system. Now, this is what I had to do. Okay, so inside of the low pressure gauge, it looks exactly like this, like a tire stem in there, like exactly the way the tire stems look. Now, what I had to do was, and they said if you put too much pressure into the low pressure, there's no way to relieve that pressure. Well, there is. So what I had to do was, I tried to put 2 cans of Freon in through the low pressure, and it didn't work at all. It wasn't taking any pressure, and it was stuck on red. I didn't know what to do. I thought I was going to have to pay a mechanic tons of money to fix my AC. So I figured out, once I realized that it was a stem in there, I figured out that if you press this button onto the stem, it relieves pressure. Now, the part that I actually had to catch on to was the fact that not only if you have too much pressure and it is in the red, mine was going all the way up to, mine was trying to go past this. That's how much pressure I had. So I pushed the thing. It was relieving pressure from there, but Freon was also coming out. What I had to do was put this in here, press the button, and relieve the pressure from the high pressure valve. And that was the part where my dad said he ain't never heard no shit like that. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a mechanic, and I don't know if that was the proper thing to do, but that got my air flowing and it got it cold. And it's been working ever since. I have not had to put any more cans of Freon in there. And it got me to the 3rd can when I figured that out. The 3rd can. I had to buy 2 cans of Freon before I figured that out, because I was relieving pressure from the low pressure valve instead of the high pressure valve, which was moving the hot air through the pressure intake system and moving that hot air through the high pressure valve, allowing the intake from the Freon to flow through the low pressure to reach all the way through the compressor to compress that air through the air system. So listen, and I'm probably not even explaining this right. I'm just finding words that I feel like make sense, but that I feel like happened. And yeah, that's how I got my AC working. So if you have a Kia Optima, or if your engine looks like this, you listen. But we got her working though, and she's cold. You can fix your AC. You can fix your AC. If you have an engine like that, if your air conditioning system looks like that in your car, you can fix it. And it's just blowing hot. Like if your compressor still works, if you turn the engine on and your compressor is still spinning, still turning, that means your compressor works. If you turn your engine on, your compressor is not moving, you need a new air compressor. If there's a little box attached to the front of your car, in between the engine and the car, under the hood, if it's leaking, you got other problems. You decide this solution will not help. Take it to a professional, okay? Matter of fact, I don't even recommend this. Take your car to a professional. Don't take my advice. Don't take my advice. This is what I did with my car. This is how I got it to work. Bye.